Say good morning off mute, Janet.
Morning off mute.
Love you. Hi.
Hi, honey. Oh, I love Jan. I love your thing behind you. I have got to get something better than my kitchen. Figure that
You
out.
will. You will. All in good time.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. All in
Folks,
good.
it's about time for us to kick it off with song.
Okay.
Let's go, Kevin. Oh, muting ourselves.
Yes, please. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light. You are beautiful just the way you are. Step into the love. You're illuminated by the glory of God's love. Step into the truth. From within your abundance overflows. How love can change one life. One life can change the world. Step into the light. Step into the love. Step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light. Step into the love. Step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. I am the light of the world. You are the light of the world. We are the light of the world. So move with me. Step with me. Step into the light. Step into the love. Step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light. Step into the love. Step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light. Step into the love. Step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. I am the light of the world. You are the light of the world. We are the light of the world. So move with me. Step with me. Step into the light. Hello, beloveds, and welcome to the Downey Center for Spiritual Living. I am the spiritual director at the Downey Center for Spiritual Living, and my name is Sunshine Day. What a joy it is to greet you on this amazing Sunday. Out of all of the places that you could have been, you have chosen to be here with us, and for that I say thank you and welcome. Welcome on to your spiritual journey and your spiritual path. We love spiritual practice, and our spiritual practice is so important to us. And leading us today in spiritual practice is our practitioner, Jan Hartman. She brings you love and joy and actually helps to deepen our spiritual practice. So I'm just going to invite you to just surrender and allow her meditation and invocation to fill your heart. Jan?
Good morning. I feel so blessed to be here today. And I get to have this time with you, a time for spiritual practice. Meditation is such a wonderful way to refresh and replenish all that we are through the time with the divine, the Creator, to remember that we are one in spirit, each a unique expression, yet connected to all that is, as part of the life that God is. So the CSL theme for today is when the road gets rocky. Now, it might be easy to think about how rough the journey can feel at times, rocky or even pebbles turning into boulders. It might feel like moments of confusion, moments of worry, moments of hesitation about what comes next. And the truth is, the joy of truth is that our belief in our oneness and our connectedness turns us round right. We go deep into the roots of what we know to be true and even higher, aim even higher in our connection and our consciousness, claiming peace and love and compassion. So allow me, if you will, to guide the next few minutes and go deep into that stillness. Closed eyes or soft gaze. Find that space that is yours alone and fly with your raised conscious energy at the same time. So find the space within you, surrounding you, that brings you to your divinity. Using your breath, find the rhythm of in and out, slowly and richly, resting in the breath of God. God is breathing you, loving you, and the stillness that is happening here for you will reveal all that you desire. Simply relax. There is nothing difficult. Breathing in, breathing out, finding your calm, centered self. Secure that spirit brings you only good, only love. Ask, wonder, what is it that shifts the boulders, the rocks, the discomfort into peace, compassion, and love? What must you remember during this time to balance your journey and soften your way? Ask, wonder, what is it? Until you seek something that is more than you are already doing or having or being, you will continue receiving what is already here. So move higher, aim higher, unify yourself with the divine presence in everything. It is time to know that Divine Spirit is operating through you now. Know that you are not limited by anything that has happened or is now happening. Be aware that the truth is making you free from any belief in want, lack, or limit, for they are nothing. Your roots are deep in divine love. Remember, you are guided and inspired by the same imagination and intelligence that scatters the moonbeams across the waves. Experience a calm conviction for your union with good, your oneness with God. You are always led to the pathway of peace and happiness. All is well. All is well. All is here for you and everyone. How refreshing it is to find this time deeply rooted in the truth of oneness. God as source, God as love, God as divine and perfect expression. No boulders, no rocky terrain, only peace and love. And now, as we wind our way from this time in the stillness, return here, now, and connect with your own divine self, aware of you, right here in your body, in this space and time. For now, we move into a time of community as we open our eyes and come to the space of our Zoom community. And new messages and new light will be here for your world and those around you. All good, all God, ever moving, shifting, and changing to become more of what we came here to be. I'm claiming balance, calling forth strength and joy, claiming our space in our lives, each one part of the whole of God's delicious creations. We are expressed divinely right here and right now. And a message from Reverend Sunshine is on the way, bringing new communion through the words, her light, her joy. I am filled with gratitude and appreciation for all this teaching brings to me in this moment, the peace and the joy that I can embrace, because I know my life is the life that God is, and that is true for you and for all. I place my words of love and faith into the law of love now, right now, knowing that we are sourced, guided, and supported by the Infinite One that fills us full to the brim today. And we are open, we are surrendered and our God is operating, and so it now is. Taking your time to come out to this new spot.
Well, thank you very much, Jan Hartman, for that magnificent meditation and opening invocation. And so, Jan, some love. Thank you so much, Jan. So, as I take a breath, just have a few announcements for us today. First of all, Reverend Judy began her class last Monday. Change happens. I spoke to her this week, and you can still join the class in the second week. And so I will remind you that if that's something you want to do, then get right on it. Send us an email, give us a call, say you want to join, and we will send that link out to join the Zoom meeting and connect you with a way to invest in yourself and possibilities for the next now 7 weeks. So thank you for that. She did have a good class start last week, as I heard. And as always, prayer with a practitioner is available immediately after service in what we call Minute Miracles. We use the breakout feature on Zoom so that we can pair you up one-on-one with one of our practitioners. It's a powerful few moments where they will know the spiritual truth for you, perhaps in ways that you really hadn't thought of before or felt before. It's a really great experience. And as usual, there are sacred service opportunities at Downey CSL, whether we are in person or on Zoom. As you know, there's a lot of work that we do each week, each month, to create these gatherings, these classes. So if you're called to serve in that way, again, reach out to anyone in our leadership teams, whether it's the ecclesiastical team or the leadership council, and we will be happy to accept your seva, your sacred service. And along those lines, I want to thank everybody who does participate in this way. So I want to thank our practitioner of the day, Jan Hartman. Magnificent job as usual. So thank you, Jan. To our spiritual director, Reverend Sunshine, and for the message we are about to receive. Thank you so much for that. For those folks out on our live stream, be it Facebook or YouTube, and I finally got Facebook going eventually this morning, so I apologize for the delay, but welcome those on Facebook, welcome those on YouTube. Thank you for being here, and thanks to our folks that are sharing with those folks on the live streams. Thanks to our leadership council who continue to do the work of our operation for our center, our business for our center. Thanks to our music team and our music director, Sunny Day. Thank you so much for all you do. And I want to thank all of you for being here today, for joining in this gathering. You make all the difference in growing our individual and collective consciousnesses by being here with us today. So I thank you for that. And as we continue in spiritual practice, we view giving as a form or a way of spiritual practice. And the ways that you can contribute to our Downey Center, our Downey community, you can mail your gift to 10,000 Paramount Boulevard, Downey, California, 90240. You could use your bill pay service, or you can use the donate links that are available in the email and the website, and I will put that link up in the chat momentarily so you can donate with a credit or debit card. And this becomes a spiritual practice as in the consciousness with which you give, in which I give, in that consciousness for me, that feeling, that inward sensation, that thing that feels good and also stretches and grows me. I feel a plenitude in my life, that there is so much good flowing through my life, that this is just a natural expression to give and give in this demonstrable way, however that might appear. It could be for you a feeling of abundance or a feeling of prosperity. It could be feeling sort of in that flow of spirit, just feeling a circulation of good through you. And it could be any form of giving. But today we look at giving to what feeds us spiritually. So I invite you to hold your hands over your heart as we say our statement of giving together. I'm going to say it in English, and if Spanish resonates for you, we have it in Spanish. So here we go.
La
Abundance
abundancia
flows in my
fluye por mi
life.
vida.
I am
Estoy
blessed with
bendecido con
prosperity.
prosperidad.
I
Doy con
give
un
with
sentimiento de
generosity.
generosidad. Sí,
Yes, I
diezmo
tithe
con
on
la
faith,
fe, la
belief, and with a
creencia y con
consciousness
una
of love.
conciencia de amor.
My
Mi
gift is a
regalo es la
divine
circulación
circulation through
divina a
me
través de mí que
that now
ahora
benefits and
beneficia y hace
grows our
crecer
spiritual
nuestra
community
comunidad
and
espiritual y más
beyond.
allá.
Beyond.
And
Y
now it
ahora
is.
And
es.
now it is.
So as we listen and sing along with this song, and I encourage you to mute and sing, because that's what I will be doing. But just allow this to prepare your heart for our message today.
I'm walking in the Spirit, walking in the Spirit, walking in the Spirit of one God, loving in the Spirit, loving in the Spirit, loving in the Spirit of one God, moving in the Spirit, oh, moving, I'm moving in the Spirit, oh, the Spirit, oh, God, growing in the Spirit, every day I'm growing in the Spirit, growing in the Spirit, the Spirit of one God. Knowing in the Spirit, knowing in the Spirit, knowing in the Spirit, the Spirit of one God. Sing in the Spirit. I lift my voice and sing, yeah. In the Spirit. Oh, I lift my voice and sing, yeah. In the Spirit. Oh, the Spirit. The Spirit. The Spirit. One God. The Spirit. One Welcome, beloveds. Welcome to today's message, When the Road Gets Rocky. And I want to share with you that as I was preparing for this talk,
it reminded me again of our vision and mission statement, because our vision and mission statement is so powerful. So I'm going to ask Reverend Kevin if he can bring up that slide for us. And we'll start it today from this place of our vision and mission. By valuing and empowering all, we inspire a fulfilling and joyous life. And in Spanish, it's a valorar y potenciar todo. Inspiramos una vida plena y alegre. And what does this have to do with when the road gets rocky? This could be a really short talk today, because it's like, when the road gets rocky, by valuing and empowering all, we inspire a fulfilling and joyous life. Period. We are already past the basket. Let's sing and enjoy our Sunday. It's interesting because, for me, I think about going on a hike, or sometimes running into potholes on the road. And when I think about it as symbols, because of course the brain doesn't understand words. The words are associated with symbols, right? And so when the road gets rocky, for me, immediately what I see is, boulders to my left, little pebbles in the middle, and, bushes and trees, or, and sometimes things are really smooth, and sometimes, the road gets a little bit rocky. And I think to myself, what are those things that I consider rocky in my life? And what are the things that you consider rocky in your life? So I'm going to invite you to kind of keep this pretty interactive. You can type it into the chat, write a comment on YouTube or Facebook. What are the things that you consider are the things that make your road rocky? So a few of those for me is experiencing loss, or, a car wreck, or, relationships going awry, especially when people don't want to do what I think they should be doing in their life. Right? I also consider it like self-will run riot, addiction, despair, anxiety, depression. Those things, the doubt, or the feeling of unworthiness, or toxic anger, or just being too busy. If we see those things as sometimes the things that make our road rocky, in other words, life at the beach, when you're out there, I love the beach, by the way, right? So when I think of, a rocky road, and I don't mean the ice cream, a rocky road type of living, or life at the beach. My mountain lovers would say a rocky road, right? And my beach lovers would say, life at the beach. And as I consider all of these things that I've named as sometimes the things that make our road rocky, it's interesting to recognize how we navigate through and on this rocky road. I encourage you to go ahead and continue to put in the chat some of the things that you consider are the things that make your road rocky. We have to name it to tame it. Name it to tame it. You know, we gotta name it, that it's, that it's fear, or that it's lack consciousness. We name it so that we can tame it. And by that I mean, we if you don't know what it is that's making your road rocky, then how is it possible to then recognize what your next steps are? So when it's there in front of you and it is blocking your road, what do we get to be? What do we get to do? Thank you. On Facebook, I hear grief, I hear fear. In the chat, loss, the refrigerator, addiction, self-will. These are the things that we get to go, oh yeah, this is in the way. I love this quote by Mary O'Malley, and I have it here off to the side, and it says, what is in the way is the way. What? What is in the way is the way. Wow. Wait a minute. You mean my doubt, my fear, my past tripping, my future tripping, my not being in control of, the things that are happening in my life, my automatic reactions, and sometimes isn't it those little things that kind of trip us up? Sometimes it's not those big boulders that make us fall, but those little pebbles like resentments or greed, And what if what is in the way is the way? Now, what I mean by that, and how I interpret that, and how I want to make that the source of when the road gets rocky, when I say name it to tame it, if it is anxiety or fear or lack or loss or grief, if it's not being in control, when we name it, we actually are doing what Rumi has invited us to do. And I am not as poetic as Rumi. But in essence, Rumi says to that challenge, to that thing that is constantly getting in our way, kind of trying to block us from getting and doing and being and living our best life, what Rumi says is to open the door and invite it in. Invite it in. Fear, grief, resentment, lack, limitation. Come on in. Welcome. Here, have a seat. Settle in and share with me that which you are here to share with me. Obviously, in everyday language, it's like, obviously you're in the way and you want my attention, so now I'm giving you my attention, but in the most loving way, right? Not being sarcastic, but really being from this place of interest and this place of wanting to grow spiritually. I'm saying, hey, come on in. So what is it? What is it you need to tell me? What's the message that you bring? And see, automatically what begins to happen is we begin to recognize that because we are living in fear, in loss, in doubt, in greed, in unworthiness or busyness or toxic anger, or trying to control, what we can recognize about that is that we have been living and believing, and that we're stuck in the belief and the behaviors of separation from the power and the presence and the life that is our very life. We are believing and doubling down and putting money down on separation instead of recognizing our oneness. our oneness, that nothing, absolutely nothing can separate me from God, from good. Nothing can separate me from my good. What is for my good is for my good, and I cannot be separated from it. You and you and you and this and that and the other thing does not have the power to separate me from my good, to separate me from my God, to separate me from living my best life. But I certainly do. And I certainly do when I believe in separation. And that is the rub. The rub is that the road is simply the road. We call it rocky, but we can easily navigate through it even by just remembering our vision and mission, that by valuing and empowering all, we inspire a fulfilling and joyous life. By valuing that thing itself, what is in the way is the way. It's the reminder. It's almost like, when we're believing and when the big boulder of our best life is poverty or lack, limitation, and there's this big boulder in our road, right? When the road gets rocky and it's this thing called poverty or lack or limitation, that rock, that boulder, that thing, that pebble itself actually has a sign on it. And that sign on it, if you take the time to look at it, instead of denying it, oh no, it's not there, it's not truth, it's not the truth. What is on there is actually, go meditate, beloved. Remember your oneness in spirit. Remember that your life is eternal. Remember that you are wholeness. Remember that you are one with all. Remember that it is actually there to remind us of our truth. It's just the accoutrements. Those are just accessories to remind us to stay on track and remind us of the truth of who we are. But here's the thing, is that you can't stay clean on yesterday's shower. You cannot stay clean on yesterday's shower. You must shower today. I know during COVID, it was a little bit challenging. Like, why? But what I'm really pointing to by that statement is that you must go into a daily spiritual practice. When Jesus the Christ was teaching people how to pray, he said, give us this day our daily bread. Our daily bread. Daily. Our daily nourishment. How are we nourishing ourselves on a daily basis so that we remember the truth of who we are? In Bible times, it talks about the people of God going through the desert, and every day the way that God would feed them was through the manna from heaven, right? And I can just imagine, I wasn't physically there myself that I can remember, but you can imagine that for a moment, some people were probably saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to get enough manna for tomorrow, because I don't want to wake up early in the morning to go out and get my manna, to get my food. But the manna was only good for that period. It was only good for that time. And by the time it became tomorrow, that manna was no longer nourishing. It was no longer any good, which caused the people to have to go out daily, on a daily basis for that manna, right? Another way of looking at it is If you drive a certain way to the grocery store or to your work or to a particular spiritual community, you have a route that you usually take. But don't get stuck in that route, because when there are accidents or when that road becomes rocky, you are either delayed or detained and can never make it on time. What you depend upon is the GPS, right? You put on that GPS, that global positioning system, right? You put it on in your car, on your phone or whatever, and it tells you exactly how to get around that accident that is causing delays. And it is the same for us. You know, just because today is Sunday and we've lived on a Sunday before, let's not get stuck in, I do Sunday things on Sundays, but let us indeed begin by simply going within. All great people who have been successful in life, who are living their best life, are going within. And they're not necessarily telling God, yo, let me tell you, this is what I'm doing, this is what I want, and manifesting it. We all know how to manifest. That's phase 2 of our spiritual growth and development. And we're busy about being in steps 3 and steps 4, which is God is working through us, but then eliminating that idea of separation and recognizing God as me. That indwelling power and presence is right here. And that to the degree in which I tap into my internal GPS, to the degree in which I go within in a visioning practice, and it's just like, what shall I do today? Speak to me in a language that I understand. Guide me, that I have this internal guidance that takes me exactly where I want to go, that has me speaking in a way and to whom it is that I need to speak to, that says, yes, make this move now, or no, don't make this move. When we are in tune with that indwelling power and presence and allow that to guide us, that, beloved, is the guidance and the daily practice. When we sit still and are not moved until we are moved, when we are silent until we are given to speak, it is tapping into that indwelling power and presence. It is that to which I speak of when I'm talking about that what is in the way is the way, that it's a reminder to say, go to prayer, go within, know your truth, take a shower, be showered in this truth, be showered in this truth. I think that's why it's so important for us to recognize and to see our practitioners, our spiritual living coaches, our ministers, because sometimes we're stuck in beliefs and behaviors that are destructive. Sometimes we don't even know that we're tripping over these pebbles. Sometimes we don't even know that we're engaging in unhealthy ways of being. And we wonder why our road is rocky. And whether we see it as the road being rocky or the road being smooth or easy sailing or all of the symbols and the metaphoric ways in which we see our lives, let us not curse the rocks and the pebbles and the things that trip us up along the way. Let us recognize our oneness, that it is not there against us, but that it is actually there for us to remember the truth of who we are, that it is there so that we can become centered and quiet, so that we recognize and uncover that indwelling presence, so that we are then moving from this place of my life is the life of God. My life is God. My life is whole, is perfect, is complete. This is where we get this opportunity through our daily practices and through our weekly practices, like hanging out here in the beloved community and being a part of a love-minded community. I've said this before. I don't want to be creating a like-minded community only. I want to be involved in creating a love-minded community, a community that when folks don't even necessarily think in the same way that you or I think, that there is space and that all are welcome. I want to live and dwell in that place of oneness where the infinite reality is expressing itself fully. You know, here is the opportunity where by using our spiritual tools, not only do we awaken to our spiritual magnificence, but humanity awakens to its spiritual magnificence as well. That is a love-minded community. We're not here to convince anybody. Everybody has their own road. And everyone can call it a smooth road, a rocky road, or whatever it is that they want to call it. What I want to share is just that when things get tough, right? When things get tough, the tough get going. When we have these occurrences in our lives, that what is in the way is the way. It is our reminder. And sometimes I take those reminders because they're gentle reminders. And sometimes those reminders, ouch, come like a 2x4 or like a Louisville Slugger bat. And you know those things are heavy. Those things are heavy. And ouch, hard lessons to learn. But here we are, this spiritual community got a vision and mission statement that came through our visioning, that when we apply it, when we use it as a practice, when we remind ourselves 7 times 70, times a day, when we incorporate it, when we take it in and adopt it and make it our very own, that by valuing and empowering all, we inspire a fulfilling and joyous life. All of a sudden, I could say, yeah, the road is rocky, but I have a clear path. My GPS, my internal guidance guides me. Or I can say, what rocky road? This is just part of the terrain. And because I am one with the power and the presence that has created me, it's smooth sailing, always smooth sailing. I love it what one of my beloved friends, Reverend Dr. John Waterhouse says. He says, the way you live your life is your prayer. The way you live your life is your prayer. Your beliefs and conceptions drive your life. Wow. How are you living your life? The way you live your life is your prayer, and your beliefs and conceptions drive your life. So I leave you with this affirmation today. Every step of the way is an extension of my faith. The further I go, the higher I rise. As we take a look at living life with our faith, putting our faith in God, trust God, love people. The way to build our faith is like a muscle. We exercise it through our spiritual practices daily. We shower ourselves in spiritual practice daily and weekly, and we come out as the best possible beings that we can be. Our way of life is our daily prayer. What is your prayer saying about you? Let's just take a moment to go into prayer as well. How grateful I am in this moment to simply speak the word and recognize the one power, the one presence, the one life that has created everything out of itself. God, Allah, Spirit, Mother Earth, Father Sky, infinite intelligence, Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever name we call this power and presence, it has created everything out of itself. Therefore, my life is its life. I am the unique, unrepeatable way that God shows up in human form. That which is true of this power and presence is true for me in this human realm. And as I know that this is my truth, I know that this is the truth for each and every one. That God is expressing beautifully, powerfully, magnificently in, through, and as all. Grateful for this truth, I'm simply knowing and calling forth into our experience, to the experience of each and every person, each and every life, to all beings, all sentient beings. I'm simply calling forth the experience of abundance, of beauty, creativity, divine order. I'm simply knowing that eternal life is the truth for each and every one. I'm knowing that peace and power and love and joy are at hand, that it is indeed our very nature and at our core. So we bring our attention there and we let that shine. We remove any obstacles. We simply let those obstacles that we think are the rocky road, we remind ourselves that those things are there to remind us to go back to knowing the truth. My life is God. My life is God. And that there is nothing, no thing that can separate me from the life of God. This is the truth that I speak now. This is what I'm calling forth in, through, and as the expression and the experience of each one. Praying, believing it is done. I simply release my word now into the activity of the law. Grateful for its manifestation. Grateful for our joy. Grateful for our abundance. Grateful for our health. Grateful for our community. Grateful for all things. Knowing that that which is in the way is the way, and grateful for all of it. I simply allow it to be so. It is so, and so it is, and now it is. Amen. Well, too bad I wasn't excited about that talk, beloveds. Thank you so much for your love, for your attention. Thank you so much for being with our spiritual community today. Thank you so much. Out of all the places you could have been, you chose to be here, and we love and appreciate you. We want to speak a word of blessing unto you. So if you are in need of prayer, please reach out to us, as we would love to pray with you and for you and know the highest and the best. Until then, let us now sing a song of blessing and sing a song of prayer as we conclude our Sunday celebration service.
This is our prayer, a song of praise. We get to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open hands,
We love you. Go forth and multiply this consciousness. Until the next time. Bye for now.